Hey Greg, let's talk bourbon. I decided I wanted to do a follow-up video to yesterday's video. Yesterday I did the Redwood Empire, I did the bourbon and the rye. That was, bourbon beer here being the Grizzly Beast, and the rye was that Rocket Top. So one thing I was kind of impressed with about this Grizzly Beast was, it had 5% wheat in it, and it kind of really did give it a nice, soft kind of a tone to it, right? However you want to put that. So I went through all my bottles, which are numbering around 100 these days, and I realized that I am deficient in wheated bourbons. I don't really have many. So I do have Holiday, soft red wheat, which is rickhouse proof. So, which gives it a bit of an advantage, I suppose. This here is, if I can find it, no idea. Oh, there we go. Finally, 120 proof. Whereas the Grizzly Beast is only 100 proof. So, if in the proof category, Holiday will have a bit of an advantage. Now, the Grizzly Beast, to remind you from yesterday here, the mash bill was 68% corn, 20% rye, 5% wheat, 5% barley, and 2% triticale, which is really unique. So the Holiday, that is 73% corn, 15% wheat, and 12% malted barley. So, there's no rye in it or triticale. And it has, like I said, it has about 3 times more wheat in it than this one does. Just thought I would try them out, compare them against each other. I thought perhaps I was going to have at least another bottle in here, and I just don't have any other wheated. So, here we go. Here is the Holiday. Good strong nose. Very sweet. It's got that vanilla. It's very corn, right? The corn notes come out. All right, it's got that vanilla, maybe a little honey. It almost does have a grainy smell to it, but in a good way. Yeah, it does. It does have kind of a cream corn kind of a nose. And it even has almost kind of that clovey smell to it, even though there's no rye in this. Now, the palate doesn't deliver through the palate as well as I would like it to. The palate is certainly ends at a lot of allspice, almost wanting to start to go into the 5 spice, that like richer, more bitier spice. But it definitely has the vanilla, the caramel, a bit of that graham crackery note. Yeah, a lot of vanilla. It is quite nice. 120 proof. It's certainly full flavored. The oak is starting to come in now, but not terrible, right? Sometimes bourbons, the oak starts to take over and it starts to get into some bad flavors and so forth. But whether it be bitter or it be really dry or sometimes that stringency, right? So this doesn't have any of that, but you can start to get that oak coming in, that woodiness in it. And what I don't necessarily just really pick out in this is the soft note of the wheat. Now maybe it's because I'm not comparing it up against a straight whiskey, a straight bourbon, but what I mean by that is one that's not wheated, I guess, is what I meant by that. Obviously, straight bourbon means something else these days. But, now, the Grizzly Beast. Wow. Yeah, just like yesterday, it's cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice on the nose. Very, very tasty smelling though. Maybe nutmeg. I mean, I said nutmeg. I mean hazelnut. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I got a little hazelnut to it. And I said cocoa powder last time. Yeah, I think today I'm kind of feeling it's more into the hazelnut category. Just finding it, I guess, a little nuttier than yesterday. This is much smoother, easier on the palate, but it still has a pretty strong flavor to it. So I think this is a combination of a couple things. It's got that softness that I noticed yesterday that I expected to find that here, and I don't necessarily. Now, of course, also there's a difference of proof. This is only 100 proof. This is 120. Hence, this is going to come off as being a little smoother, but yeah. I mean, in the first round, I'm liking this one better, but let's keep her going. There is a bit of almost a fruity smell in this. Ben Holiday. So, not a lot. It's just a touch. It's just there in the background. It's kind of a melon kind of a note. I do get some, besides just the vanilla and the cinnamon and then the allspice coming in, I also do get a touch of that cream corn that I was mentioning on the nose. Yeah, this one comes off as considerably proofier than this one. Now, like I said, 3 times now. This is 120, this is 100. But, yeah, I don't know. It comes off as a little on the proofy side, and there's a youngness to it. Which I think also kind of stems from the fact that I'm getting that a little bit of that cream corn. I guess that's something else that just kind of sticks in my mind as being, younger, right? Not having as much time interacting with the oak. The white dog that I've had in the past has always tasted like kind of a cream corn. I know that when I first tried this when I bought this, I don't know, a few months ago. I was a little bit, it was like it was good, but it wasn't quite there. I wasn't head over heels about this bottle. I think that's it. So I think on one hand, it's a little proofy. It tastes a little young. And on the other hand, it also has kind of the finish gets to be a little bit, well, it starts out more of an allspice. It kind of starts turning more into that 5-spice, that bitier, spicy that we often associate with. I almost said a rye spice. The interesting thing about that is that while a lot of people think of it in that sense, and I've heard that phrase used in videos, and I think I've said that a number of times, I believe that flavor actually comes from the oak, not from rye, and this actually kind of proves that in the sense, because this bottle doesn't have any rye in it at all, right? This is corn, wheat, and malted barley. So, which is another thing, right? So this is 12% malted barley. Now, usually when I have a bottle with that high of a percentage of malted barley, oh yeah, okay, now that I'm thinking about it, I guess it is there. I was gonna say, usually it's pretty malty, and I guess I just didn't notice it. But now that I thought about it, yeah, that's what the other note is in here. It is quite malty. In fact, I think that maltiness maybe kind of helps out a little bit in the creation of some of these other flavors that I've been picking off here. But yeah, so one thing it does, it is pretty pleasant though. I mean, this is not a bad bottle at all. And my mouth is starting to get more used to the 120 proof. I had a small starter before this that was 80 proof, so got me a little started, but still the 120 was a bit of a shock. And I still say that this is on the, comes across proofier than what the proof level is. And I think that this one comes across as smoother than what the proof level is. I think, just based on other bottles and so forth. Now, granted, they're up against each other. This one's 100, this is 120, so. But this one is just so noticeably more smooth. I mean, this one's biting me proof-wise, although I'm getting used to it. And this one, after drinking this one, I mean, I can't even taste the alcohol at all. Right? It's just so smooth. Yeah, there's like no alcohol bite to this whatsoever after having drank that one. And yet this is only a 5-year, and it comes across as if it were a 10 or 12 year in comparison to this one. I didn't necessarily think that yesterday. I thought it was, in fact, if I recall it yesterday, I didn't have a starter glass. And just my first taste of the day was this. And that first taste, I think I mentioned that it was a little proofy, but said it was not bad. Well, today I had a little bit of a starter, and then I went with this one first. And so coming back to this one, I mean, this one, you could have told me this was a 10-year or a 12-year, and I'd have believed you. This one's got some real nice flavors, real nice notes on the nose. I think the nose is better than the palate, but it's good. This one, however, is just so much more together. It's not only is it smooth, it's It's just well balanced. There's nothing biting you at the end. It's just a real easy drinking, pleasant taste. This bottle is crushable. You could sit down and really hit this bottle hard. It's very good. So I don't necessarily want to rip the Ben Holiday, but if I recall, and I get my numbers, my prices confused all the time, because it's hard to keep all these things in your head. I know I just paid $80 for this one. I want to say that this one was also somewhere right in that $80 range. In fact, if I recall, I think it was a little under that. I think it was like 77 or 75, somewhere right around there. Still, these are roughly the same price. This one does have the higher proof, which usually higher proof, usually you pay for that. So if this was only bottled at 100 proof, maybe it would have been more of like a $65 bottle. I don't know. I know they've got a bottled and bond out there that I don't own. I'm not sure how much that went for. I mean, it does have a lovely nose. I don't want to, destroy this bottle here. It's good. It's not as good as this one though. I guess that's my take for today. So, the one thing it showed me is that I found interesting here is that the Holiday with the higher amount of wheat didn't necessarily feel softer. Could be the proof level, but didn't really feel softer. This one has that definite softness to it with just 5% wheat in it. So that's one takeaway I get from this. The other takeaway I get is that I probably should have more wheated bourbons around here. I do have a couple of blended whiskeys that some of the blend is wheated, but I didn't think that was necessarily fair. So I didn't want to go down that road including those. But maybe I'll have to try to find myself some other good wheated bourbons out there. All right, Greg. Have a good one. Peace out.